Hello, blonde folks. Welcome and welcome back. This is Gnomes. We're starting a new old project of mine. This will be an indie game, so using the UPBGE, the Blender game engine, but one of the branches that are being developed, right? So I found out I was playing with some stuff here. I'm gonna make a fantasy thing because I've just find out that I've been learning the UPBGE using a alpha version for the past couple weeks or so. Less than 1 month for sure. And I have been learning quite fast, at least regarding what interests me. Of course, there are a lot of complicated things. I had already previous experience with game engines, but very basic when I was a child, something like the Games Factory, CD-ROM. And anyways, I always have been a game design as a kid, and like RPG games and creating custom house systems, usually simple, sometimes not so simple. And but I've never been a game developer or a digital game designer, although I always had the potential for that because, you know, we have plenty of ideas usually. So by learning what there is to learn currently on the internet of BGA, there's not a lot of content. It's not super popular, but turns out that we can do a lot of things with this. It's not very hard. So for example, okay, why suddenly it's not playing? I think I need to. So I'm a bit addicted now to this logic node editor, which is a node system, right? And for some reason it is yeah, it's more modernish than the other system here, which is the logic bricks. I try to avoid this. I find it confusing that they mix this alter. Some things are easier to do here and others might be better to do on the newer system, but the newer system is a bit confusing. This one is also pretty confusing design wise, but it's more straightforward, but it's old school. It's like an NLA editor, let's say. Okay, so something broke here in my code. I'm not sure what it is, but it's not for. I just wanted to show the gameplay here and what I can do, but apparently I've saved a corrupted version. It's not a corrupted version, it's just I was trying something else. Let's see. Okay, great. Now okay, let's not save this. Yeah, okay, all my nodes are there, so this was causing some problem. I haven't figured this out. Okay. Okay, and also I have some problems here with the costumes. So basically, great. So I can't. So I was doing this score. It adds 1 point when we. So all this, there is some ideas out there, and okay, I think it's these nodes here. Yeah. No, this is working. What might have broken here? Mystery. Anyways, whatever I did here is not very important because I've decided today, right, that maybe it's just the script, right? No, not this. Creepy thing. Yeah, so very weird. It was just work, so I don't know what I did to have everything fail critically here. Yeah, there is something about I need to learn this. So there is, of course, here we have access to the. There is a. Well, there should be a. Toggle system console, alright. Invalid driver. No, it's not this. So let's get to the. Soon enough, I'm gonna get rid of this. Let's see. Need to get used to this thing, usually for rigging, right? When something goes wrong. Mesh has vertices for. No, this shouldn't be the. It's probably this. Oh, I see. I don't know. There is a property there. Okay, it's something. That should. Okay, this ruined my presentation. Whatever. So basically, what I wanted to show in the UPBGE, whatever. I just wanted to show that I can make stuff there with that is quite more complicated than a simpler game, and this one will be an adventure game, like a bit of old school, but it will be much simpler than all this action RPG stuff that this will be like a blobber RPG game, Doris Adventures, and we are gonna use like it is first person, but it's not a shooter, like it's a blobber, so you have characters. Many old school games use this kind of method. Today it's not very popular, but well, it's a party, right? RPG, you have a party and you carry everyone together. Some reference I have for this is like, of course, Might and Magic, especially the ones that I played at some point, 6, 7, and 8, right? Might and Magic. And then, of course, much older games like, well, this probably very few would know about, but Crystals of Arborea from Silmarillion, it's a company, and Chronicles of Aetra, and the other one was Heroes of Might and Magic. So I want to get something about the combat that looks like a bit like. There are many ideas, so there will be like a remix of things, right? And so here I'm making the scenery for what could be one setting of the fantasy world of Doris, which is actually it's Dorothy, right? From the sci-fi, but it's the same character, but in a different universe, right? And so, of course, they'll have different clothing, and I'll have to adapt. I have to make her fantasy clothing. I had started, but I didn't complete, so it will be a good point to complete. But we won't have her walking, even not as a. So you see, no problem for the characters of walking animation, commanding the character to do a lot of right. So intricacy of that, which is not even that complicated, but combat system like action, no, nothing like that. Apparently, if there's combos, that's really complicated to. So I trust that. So some things can be very complicated, and maybe in this, not very feasible in a BG unless you have some very advanced system with coding, I guess. Maybe we can do a lot just with the nodes, logic nodes editor. I'd like to try that, but probably at some point we might use some Python. I don't think you need a lot of Python though, scripting, but yeah, it's very good because you can integrate Python scripting with the text editor, with the in a BGA, right? You can, with the logic node editor, so you can recall certain functions and interact with them. I was trying to learn some things about this, so there is some dialogue, right? So it's possible, and learning these techniques Even it's to just switch, give a, this can help solving problems that only with the nodes and creating game properties it can be a bit tricky. But it can also work, I believe. It's like Blender can do a lot of things. Okay, so here let's look at something here that I want to show as a reference. This is a sort of old web comics what I used to do, and I'm trying to get this idea here. So you see you have the heroines, and this is like a city state in a plateau, like near the mountains, the top of the hills, or not even top of the hills, but upper ground in a plateau, literally. We have just huge forests and these very, very old trees, and there's just other ideas what could be the inside of the house, but it's just for this. I was here most likely for this shot here. I'm not sure if I have any other shot of this kind in this webcomics, but there are some forest shots, but I think that one would be essentially that. Oh, here, yeah, no, it's not exactly, yeah, give some idea. And this is a path, and yeah, so. Alright, so this is for this kind of reference. So I'll need some big assets here, and I'm gonna need some sky, right? Because this is a terrible setting right now to visualize anything. So we're gonna try to use I don't want to be ruining this camera position, so we're gonna make a new one. This is the source file for linked assets. I'm gonna do everything here, at least for this landscape. There will be other areas, right? Of course, the universe is quite large. It's like a big island of in a river. Not sure exactly. Transmutating geology in real time, some crazy universe idea. So anyways, it's fantasy universe. And so here we got the camera, right? Add camera. Right, so we want this camera to be the active one. So we can have... So I want to make a road in the way. This... yeah, so this kind of thing is a bit bugging for me, because there are definitely there are different ways to make all sorts of assets for the right. This is a generated texture, right? So here I want to make a street, and we're gonna, but usually, not usually, but because this is not to be modular, okay, I've readied this one for this. Great, why are not... Ah, proportional editing, right? This... So usually what... you see, this can work. We need more light, of course. This is the sunset. The compositor will do a lot of developments here, but my technique lately has been to use a... That'll be Giga Mountains in the back. So this is like the edge of the island, more to the north. And I'm not gonna draw the map right now. That's okay. The sun is the main sun. We're gonna make then some sort of reflection. I've been doing like this. Take off this, set this to this, and get this a very small exposure. So this will be like, I didn't duplicate. Okay, so this will be so basically we have this duplicate. So here we're gonna get this. If I hide, I hate this setup. Okay. If we get hidden with this, then this will be the twilight. We take off normalize, and I'm not sure about all the consequences of doing this for shaders or complex shading effects. Visually this is a cool thing. So here is, this is costly for a game engine, for a UPBGE I've tested, but it can also work. Okay, so, and then we can play with the light if we think it's, so here we can give some maybe more yellowish tone. This one we can leave it, well, why not, right? Never tried this, but okay, this can be good. Let's try 6 here. Okay, this sounds nice. But I need the compositor, and also let's get this... yeah, I think we can use... I'm not intending to use this, but maybe this can be useful for the background. This is stars. Yeah, we definitely will use something like this. And the scene world, right? So for the compositing, I need mist, so I need some mist pass here. I couldn't do dual compositing, multi-compositing and UPBGE, but I found a solution to get compositing work there. So that was a this is very interesting. Okay, so here we're gonna get the compositing will not work very good, or maybe you need a lot of samples for EV for faster performance, right? Just making sure we don't have any trouble here. Standard. We could maybe what I was looking for, the view layers. Yeah, so we want mist, grease pencil. Grease pencil of course won't work for rendering, right? So no, this is not for what I'm talking about. Depth, this can be used for grease pencil, is not necessary here. Oh, maybe we can use it just for some renders. Ambient occlusion, transparent, not sure. So for me that would be this. Now we render. And we get this very uninteresting shot, but then we need to make what's the name of that thing again? Is the mist. We have mist, so we're gonna color ramp. Great, this is apparently this is not how we use the mist. Well, in the worst case scenario, I have some... Yeah, why this thing is fucking my... does it need to be transparent, this thing? Makes no sense. Oh, it is not what I'm doing, of course. Very strong mist. So I think there is, you can use mist in the game engine. Not sure if through the compositor or if there will be any other way, but can't I control this depth anyhow? But well, the distance are too big. We barely see the... Maybe I need to use the depth for this. Okay, definitely I'm missing how this works. Let's get... I have something here maybe that will just refresh my mind. Overlay at the bottom. Okay. Yeah, but this is not giving... We could change this. No, this is ugly. This spline, yeah, this is a little softer. I think there's some data about now when I most need it, I can't get it right. I have to check some tutorial. Anyways, I think there's something about the camera. Yeah, there was something about mist, but I don't remember how to use it. Has nothing to do with this. And why this is giving me black, like yeah, this is completely stupid, but I just don't seem to be able to use the mist pass very properly. It's doing something very weird. Not what I expected. The thing I'm certainly add. Okay, add can work a little better. Maybe my scene is just too big and then this is without too many details, and currently that's why this is not a great idea. This could work best for this distance, but can't be sure without proper testings. Yeah, there, let's keep the mist. It was kind of working. Just there's a distance that I cannot reach further unless I do this. Okay, enough. We got something here. Starting to work. It's time to build some asset now. So here there will be a cliff that I haven't decided which material to place here. Rocks, the same rock there, yeah, maybe the same. But then it needs to be a different rock, or we can override stuff one with the other. Because there they are separated objects. Okay, I know what to do. So definitively we're just gonna pick this selection, and we're gonna sculpt some crazy stuff. And we want to get, so this we're gonna extrude here, right? Yeah, I was using this strategy. And something like that, yeah. There should be more space between. Yeah, definitely this mist is super annoying. That's just a stupid tutorial. Mist compositor. Well, I don't believe I didn't took one single note of this. That's why I don't know at all. So let's get. Usually I take note of those. Yeah, I want something like this, right? So.
In this tutorial, I'll show you how to add fog and mist to your 3D scenes using the mist pass in Blender. It was dirt is in the description in Blender. So what you first want to do is select the camera.
Okay, hold on.
Here on the object data properties. And we want to open up the viewport display, and we want to turn on this mist button. So the mist button is going to give us this little dot here with a line and then another dot. And so this will be the starting of the mist, and then this will be the ending of the mist. And if you want to, you can check mark the limits, and that's just going to add this extra line here. So it goes really far back, but that is optional, but I will turn it on. But it's just something in the viewport. It's not actually going to affect the mist. Now we need.
Okay, great. Now YouTube hides the quality and I can't see anything.
In this tutorial, I'll show you.
Okay, so there's something definitively about checking that thing.
Link to that tutorial. First one I do is select the camera and click here on the mist button. So the mist button is going to give us this little dot here with a line and then another dot. And so this will be the starting of the mist, and then this will be the ending of the mist.
Okay, yeah, okay. So I need to manipulate these things, this gizmo. And turns out that I didn't know how to do this, so... Because how do you manipulate this, right? Let's also lock the environment for a moment. Yeah, all right, so there is... This is not this, so where is the thing, right?
If you want to, you can check mark the limits, and that's just going to add this extra line here. So it goes really far back.
Show limits. Oh, yeah, okay. No, it's not this. Great.
But that is optional, but I will turn it on.
I don't remember this was so difficult.
It's just something in the viewport. It's not actually going to affect the mist. Now what we need to do is click here on the view layer settings, and we want to turn on this mist into mist pass. So if I wireframe, so you can kind of see this better. So the start amount is going to be this
Mist pass. All right, so the... Wow, that can be confusing, right? So basically this should be on the camera, right? This affects on all the cameras, right? All right, now we need to look at this. So the default here, 5 meters. We can push this about here, then and there are different modes. Yeah, so I thought all this was in the camera, but this one is actually cool. All right, so that's all we needed.
Going to start, so I'd recommend putting it somewhere kind of at the beginning of your scene, maybe just right.
So I definitely need this technique here, gonna save for later. All right, so one problem solved. So this is how I need to do with Blender. Everything is a problem that it's okay to, or maybe it's not okay, but really it's okay that we have to dedicate a lot of time in order to solve. So here, for this road, we're gonna maintain the asset connected, but we're gonna bevel this, right? And we're gonna make this into a different material, so we could use some pavement thing, who knows, maybe this. Yeah, great. Now this doesn't make too much sense. Let's keep trying. Too futuristic. We need something too shiny. This one. Yeah, something grainy like this can already work, but it's not, it's a bit confusing, so too shiny. Same thing. Maybe this one. There are some weird artifacts there. This shouldn't be from the procedural texture. Yeah, I'm not sure what they are. Okay, then let's skip this one. This one is nice. And then we gonna augment this a little more, because the scale yeah, after we fix those things, so it's then we can, of course, in many cool RPGs, computer games, like they just polish the thing with texture painting manually or some brushing overlaying on top of each other, and it's much better. It provides some more organic results, but the problem is that the only problem is that is you have to texture paint like everything, and then it's just that work. And if we want to make changes, like, it's sort of a bit challenging, because every time you need to texture paint. So here we need some dummies, right? Because I have hard time seeing the scale of things. And here I intend to make maybe some building, some cave thing. Yeah, so we could start to have one of those gigantic trees here, right? And yeah, because it's good to have various cameras, right? we might need something like a special viewport here. Wait, what? Here. Okay, how much big is this thing? Maybe about here, yeah. There's a better way to do this with geometry nodes, right? Too late. Or maybe not too late. I have a geometry node set for that. So the curve, it's an asset. If I start building with that, yeah, but yeah, no, let's maybe another for another. There'll still be problems because then we'll have to change a lot of settings to provide the adjustments. It will be good for the topology right here when we. That's why I'm having all this crappy geometry right here. We don't need all this. We can just start like this and then start like can also use the temporary subdivision, right? We could use certain... Yeah, there's no tree. Yeah, those add-ons that makes tree, they can be very good, but I won't have the tree that I want, right? It will be hard, right? So in here I need to get creative with my bare hands, right? Which Blender is also good at. No tree will give me that. Here I can totally define the design, the character design of the trees. Even though it is a pain. No, it is actually funny. But yeah, this could take very long indeed. So doing this with curves, with geometry nodes could be the best way, right? Ah, there is another way. We can try later. So we can have trees made in different methods. That's fine. Like we can use the skin modifier, right? That would totally solve lots of problems here. Okay, and of course we need to define the color of the material of this trunk. So I have some, but it's not, we won't do it just one. There's one. Not too bad, right? Of course, for the game, we'll need to have we need to make, unless the fog is, yeah, we'll have to have. I can reuse the leaf of an asset, but the problem is it's not here. And now, yeah, it was not assetized yet. Yeah, so this has the geometry nodes for. Okay, let's assess what we've got. Is this... So what would be in the horizon? This is something, that would be a huge forest. I need to try to... The mist will be already that far, okay. There's, I think, one game which inspired me for lately. Not the, of course. Actually, I'm not sure. Maybe it was just a coincidence. Rhythm, I think it was a free sandbox. Not sure what sandbox. A free MMORPG. And there was some kind of idea plateau with some gigantic trees and trunks and mushrooms. That's crazy. Well, fantasy. I think it was... Yeah, then we can detail more of this trunk, of course. And this can give some crazy ideas how we can keep developing this, the house, right? The tree house. Like it can be part already of the architecture. Yeah, but it's very tedious to, very difficult to model like this. I should have used the skin modifier, but we'll do for later. Another asset. Could be part of an elevator, right? Just had this idea. Or can have some sort of platform here. Yeah, this. Yeah, let's do this again because this anomaly here. It's cool, but it will. I prefer like this. The tree is bigger at the bottom than the top. Why not? It's a double tree, like a double jump. It starts low, then it finds new ground, it starts to regrow. It grows inside the rock. Yeah, it's crazy. Tunnels of trees, trunks, everything out of that you can imagine. Alright, then I need to do something about the sky, right? So there is a good sky. There's a Nishita, right? Oh no, hold on. This is a background thing. It's not a compositor thing. Okay, so I don't have this because usually you're doing space. So I'm gonna try. We need the other tree, so we're gonna make it with. What I do here when I have all this camera, I don't need to do all this here, but since I'm getting all these cameras, we're gonna make. Yeah, except for this one. No, even that one. So by just clicking here, we can travel between. There are a lot of things to do here, but the idea, folks, is to have the beginning, right, in this area, and that maybe would be the game, like an episode, a quick episode. Like, it will not be a. At first, I tried to consider an arcade, like a point and click, but the game design of those are a bit tricky. Although it's kind of fun, yeah, I still could try it. The path finding is the thing that bothers me, and the game design, because the puzzles, right? And there's a lot of dialogues, which is good, but the playability with the camera on top is following the character, or you can control, like in a navigation like this, around the character. This is very nice, right? But this could be a good candidate, because there's an advantage in this one, even regarding combat, because combat I'll still have to game design the system, and then there'll be, it might be simpler than action, right? But still combat action, right? It's by turn, so, but it's still complicated, so maybe it's beyond my level right now to do something interesting in that regard. So maybe the arcade is an old school idea. So of course I've played the classics like Simon the Sorcerer, and The Secret of Monkey Island, even Sierra games like The Conquest of the Long Bow. So a lot of things in the past here. And what is this? Okay. As everyone has their own memories, but here, okay, so we need to get this thing and try to combine it here. So we're gonna go for shading, and right now we don't want this. Yeah, we want scene lighting actually. We want the camera. And we need world. We'll need an environment, right? So right now there is nothing. The same technique, we need to do an add or an overlay. It depends. Usually I would like to add this in the very end, but yeah. Of course, right now there is nothing for the environment. Where has gone the mist? Oh yeah, it is disconnected. Of course, I forgot. Actually, Yeah, so now we don't want the colored background, although we want, so the yeah, we could do some other kind of coloring here. Okay, but let's get the sky texture. It is located in texture, right? So yeah, it's just there. I will have to turn off the I'm gonna try to not use the camera, because then we have this passepartout is not helping. SanDisk not available on in EV. Yeah, so it's okay. I think we can do enough with this one. Okay, maybe we keep this one. Okay, maybe we can maintain this, and then here, okay, so this do a lot. But the mist is very strong, so this will be Maybe I need to try to catch this sun rotation. This is weird, but it won't really appear with the mist. And we might have to reduce the mist to strong. So let's see if we can do something here. And here, does it? Yeah, the background actually is the... That's it. We don't need a color. It is already it. Sunset with mist. So you need to decide here. So we can't have both. So we need to make some sort of yeah, it needs to be darker. Yeah, maybe it's our sun. Yes, one here is... The sun barely does anything. That's fine. Yeah, because the scene is already too bright. So we don't need this thing. We need to change this one. I think we'll have to do a trick here with the... Linear is good, but this one sounds more three-dimensional for some reason. Yeah, okay, we are getting the tools here to get this thing. So here is the trick. Maybe we can cheat. But this instead, maybe it's a bit less intense. But in order to, we need to avoid this thing, right? It's not very beautiful, that part, yeah. So, but we need to check. Yeah, push this very far. There's some aberration effect here. Yeah, it's the... I don't know why this happens. Let's see if it renders or is just in the viewport. No, it seems to be there. Maybe it's because of this. Ah, this is quadratic. Maybe it's a bit better. Wait, where's the fog gone? No, it is back. Yeah, it's not a good idea, apparently. Okay, I think this can already work. Then if we bring this into the... We need some assets to bring there, right? So I need to... I don't think I... Yeah, this cube is garbage. We don't need this. Okay, so they are not super cameras. What is this one? Probably on a collection for this, but not yet. Um, yeah, actually, this is a whole collection, right? So basically, the Republic. Okay, so we can make these are the so we can get all these things parented to a big empty object. We don't rescale this one, we're just gonna make this thing quite bigger maybe. We don't want it to be in the way, but okay, we can leave as this is. So and here we can asset mark this. Great. This is not being updated here, and this is because I'm not sure exactly where I'm gonna put this one. This file is in another location. It's not something for right now for me to bother. Because one thing is sci-fi, the other is fantasy, and it should be fine if I kept them separate. For the characters, it's okay. They can be kept in the original entirely, right? Because they are interchangeable. They're cloths, so there'll be their costumes are in the character rigged model file, which is in the sci-fi. It will be tricky to have to link them, yeah, from a different file. This will be nightmarish for editing. Yeah, no, this is not a good idea. Better keep them connected. I would do other tricks if Blender had solutions for data library overrides and stuff like that, but it doesn't. So data is very complicated. It's very limited currently. You can't say like, I want this part of the mesh to be linked and this other I want to edit. No, you can't. It's everything or nothing in the same object. At least I found out we can, however, we can split if it's a marked asset collection and a rigid model. For example, we can library override some stuff. Depending on the case, maybe we don't need to override everything. They can keep linked, and we can make local certain things like on demand. But then when you try to update the file, it's because it's real mess. It's impossible, nearly impossible to understand what's going on. Not recommended. But for efficiencies, patterns in UPBGE, I was in need to do those things. Okay, folks. So basically what I'm gonna do now is that this file, yeah, it doesn't matter where they are coming from right now. We have some basics here. No, not Blender, but UPBGE. Of course, there won't be enough time for me to make the entire game today. Of course, it's not like that. But we're gonna still try to... Yeah, I'll need a new file. We're gonna make the... Oh yeah, we can use this cube. We'll need to delete the default cube this time. I think you don't have the correct path. Okay, so this is... Oh yeah, I've changed this one. There we go. Alright, we're gonna search for everything. I didn't expect that. Like it's refinding the data. Okay, this is... So there's a processing bar there. Okay, so the point and click, maybe it's not feasible, but if we don't have the point and click, we can still use the... We could still use a WASD with diagonals, very simpler, not for action, more for... But at some point I'd like to get the point and click. Yeah, let's wait for this. It's almost done. The update of the asset library, it's refinding it, I think. Now it's beginning again, canceling. I'm not sure what's going on. 45%. First time when I used UPBGE, I didn't have to go through this. Okay, something is happening. Apparently we get some updates here. 61%. Wow, what is all this? Oh, it's getting... I see what's going on. This is crazy. It's getting all my backups because the folder was... No, I think we need to cancel this. It's doing a stupid job. Yeah, basically, I just need to... Yeah, this was very stupid from my part. So basically, I need to redo this. At least it was just for the... So this one is correct. What was not correct is that I need to add a new one here. This one. So this one was the first, and yeah, whatever. Let's do like this. Okay, so you have this and this. So we save. Now it won't be doing anything crazy, or maybe it will. Yeah, now it won't process all that. Oh, wait. All libraries. What is this default one? No. This one is smaller. This is shouldn't be a problem. Okay, but it's loading and it's not saying anything. Okay, since it's not willing to collaborate, let's just save here. I'll call this Dirty Adventures 01. We're gonna bring the from here a collection, this one. Exactly. Okay, saving. Okay, we need a character, so for the character we're gonna bring yeah, it's EV. Okay, we have something good here already. We haven't assetized the... Okay, so here we're gonna library override everything. We don't want this to be clickable for now. We want Dorothy here, so it's the main character. Even, yeah, so I have the two options. We own the camera here. So we're gonna, this will be camera player capsule. Reset. So I have two options. I need to make a decision. It's a tough decision for me, but basically it's which kind of so the blobber, if this was a blobber, then we would be more about first person walking. Then for the, we look for the inventories, there's an avatar, it's cute, you have graphics that needs to be done. There is some interesting immersion, right, in first person, but we don't see the character all the time, although we can see the portraits on the bottom or the side. Not sure that will be good for my 3D characters. Even that animated portrait, they can be rendered, but not sure if they will fit well. Usually they are front view are not the best. It can be funny, right? But the other possibility would be, of course, then we can place yeah, we can make two cameras here. We'll have a camera that is so we see the character, right? And then we can still rotate. Could be a combination of arcade, yeah, with or without point and click. We can rotate the camera. It can be also very nice, but without the compositor. That's an interesting proposition. Okay, so this is tricky, but there is this kind of game which are cinematics. We have a still shot and the character moves inside. These still shots you can use as renders, pre-renders, so they post-renders, right? That means the compositing to all its functionality. But then the character might not integrate very well because it will have to move in its own. Yeah, we can't render every possible angle the character can have, so it can cause a lot of technical problems. The renders might not match very well. Yeah. Okay, and so I know this camera setting was this very simple, right? If it was this one, we actually have a template. We could do this immediately. Yeah, just logic. Game logic. So here we got player, okay. And so this is the system that, well, why the game is broken already. If I've just used the template. Oh, of course, we need to, nothing happened because we need to apply here. It wasn't, so we need... Yeah, why not that? Okay, so here we got... no, it's not working. Oh, of course it's working. I was... It's because we need to be inside the camera, okay, for the expected effect. The parent, the camera is not following properly. It's like... Alright, I need to see the stuff. Why things vanish suddenly with... I don't remember why the things are disappearing. It was used with the other scene. Of course, we need some stuff here. Okay. Okay, so for some reason the parenting is broken. It's moving in local space. What's happening? This camera has some sort of crazy... Here, we don't want... Okay, now this is finally... Yeah, no, I'm not sure we're gonna use this template, but then we have this... there's any other template? No, so for the mouse it's like... very simple. Mouse look. No, it's not simple. It's tricky. I don't know exactly how we can... usually we can... There's a better way. Okay, mouse look condition on update. So it's always... There we go. And we're gonna change the field of view of this. the character is moving in. Okay, the things are inverted, I guess. This I don't know. No, let's not do this. Sometimes it does this. Probably it's interacting with the ground. Usually it's the front. This thing is doing the inverse in terms of, it's confusing. So I place the character in the cameras in the. Yeah, so, but the cool thing is that we can do something like, I see this kind of idea, right? Yeah, and we can rotate. Ah, interesting. This camera is, yeah, forget about this, but the camera is setting the orientation with some problems, right? But I don't know how the camera is manipulating the front, or it's just me that. No, the, you see, this is something that this thing I don't know what's causing this behavior, because the parents are object trees. They are indirectly applying to maybe it's because of this local thing. No. I was trying to achieve this forever, and now suddenly it happens. Let's try to see. No, nothing of these are... How come the... So it's nothing to do with this, it's just this setting on update mouse look that can change the parent orientation. Ah, there you go. This is the... That's why. This can change... Because, okay, usually I was using for this, so this can go very crazy sometimes. I was using another object for this one. Now we don't change this. I was using a secondary object, empty parented to the... Yeah, so it's a camera roll. So the camera is parented to that empty, and that empty is parented to the capsule, and that this roll becomes the body, and in this way so here it's very tricky to find something that is good, and there's always some challenge, but this is kind of cool. If we may, it's not too hard to get it to work, but like left and right, apparently yeah, of course here we got the wrong... Yeah, because in the tutorial I didn't experiment enough with this one, so this one... So this is like all around, right? But we need to be careful about the tilting, right? Which can be prevented if we... Okay, and so we don't want these things to be moving, this is why you need this other object. So there's enough tutorials for this, but I need to think more. But then the last thing that would be relevant is the to revise, right?